He, as an Australian man, arguably knows more about French cooking and French food than most French people.
It's a menu meant for wine.
Highly underseasoned.
There doesn't need to be a reason for cornichon.
Most chefs do not cook at home.
It was $17.
Yeah, I think tomato soup is the most overrated soup on the planet.
I do wish it came with a sauce.
If I didn't feed you, I don't know if that would be a true statement.
What would you have done if you didn't like his food?
I would absolutely have this again.
You're a soup guy. Definitely not light.
Well, she looked at it, she's like, that's the heaviest thing.
All right, welcome back to Aftertaste LA.
What's up, guys?
This week, we're going to be discussing our meal at Electric Bleu, or Bleu, if you actually pronounce it in
Bleu.
French.
Bleh.
Bleu. So, I knew about this place pretty much only because of you.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it talked about all that much, here and there a little bit,
Yeah.
but do you want to share what caught your eye?
So I keep up with all the new restaurant openings, and Electric Bleu caught my eye, popped into my feed. I saw the chef, Craig Hopson, Australian guy, and I saw his resume, immediately got extremely excited. This guy has worked for legendary chefs, the Troisgros brothers. He's worked for Le Cirque, Guy Savoy, Picholine. These are some heavy hitters in the French cooking world. He, as an Australian man, arguably knows more about French cooking and French food than most French people.
I would believe it. With a resume like that.
It's impressive. 9 Michelin stars combined in the restaurants that he's worked at.
Yeah.
And he decided to go to Mar Vista and open up a French bistro? Yeah, we absolutely have to go and try that.
Yeah. I mean, I used to work around that area.
Yeah.
There were not a lot of options.
No, it's a culinary wasteland there. You know, Kogi used to be there, or... Yeah, that's all I can think about.
Yeah.
Kogi had a little taqueria there for a little bit. I used to live maybe 5 minutes in Palms from where Electric Bleu is now. There's nothing else there. This is probably just off of resume alone the best restaurant in that area. Before we even ate there.
Beethoven Market is like half mile away.
But is that technically Mar Vista? Or
Yeah.
It's Mar Vista?
It is Mar Vista.
Not Culver City?
No,
Okay.
it's deeper into Mar Vista, not towards Culver.
Okay.
It's actually on the same street. Like, it's on the same street. You just keep going.
Got it.
You know where we parked?
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Electric Bleu. So Electric Bleu it's a very classic French bistro. The menu is small, it's very moderately priced, and they're really trying to be a really nice neighborhood family restaurant. Yeah, there was a lot of families eating when we were there. We went on a Sunday night?
Yep.
Sunday afternoon. We went a little early. We had a little bit of a, what do you call it when you go early?
Early bird?
Early bird. There you go. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a little early bird dinner. So it wasn't super packed, but there was a lot of families in there, and it just felt very community-oriented.
Yeah, it definitely was. People were coming in. They were like hugging the staff. It was a nice vibe.
Yeah, I think people are walking in and trying it for the first time. This only opened in April.
So yeah, I loved how it looked in there.
Mhm.
They honored their name with some blue accents. You know, they had the blue tables outside. They had their water cups had blue on the bottom.
Yeah, I liked the water cups.
They were very pretty. Inside definitely felt like warm and homey. They had a wooden bar top and some really nice soft warm lighting, like the globes hanging above the bar, some exposed rafters, and
Yeah. They had these really cool lights that looked like hats
yeah.
until I said they looked like Melania hats, and then you didn't like that.
Yeah, I meant more like a sombrero.
They didn't really look like a sombrero
It
either.
was
They were
like
crazy
an
big hats.
upside-down sombrero,
Yeah.
which the chef's wife did the interior design. She is an art director, and set decorator.
Emmy nominated.
Yeah. And you can tell. I thought that the interior was very cohesive
Mm-hmm.
and welcoming, and the chairs
Super comfortable.
were so comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Is shocking because they are metal.
Yeah, and we sat at the bar, so bar chairs is what we're talking about.
Yeah. I was very impressed by that. I really appreciate when a restaurant pays attention to that because you're going to be sitting on them for an hour or two.
Yeah, for sure. I was comfortable the whole time. There's also a big chef's counter, like 10 seats chef's counter, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
A very bistro-like to have a chef's counter.
Yeah. And they were definitely like interacting with the guests, and it just seemed really nice.
There's also a little patio outside, a little outdoor patio. So a couple of different options on where you want to sit. They had these banquettes around the perimeter, and then the chef's counter, the bar seats. So really a lot of options here, but a narrow space. It's not like a huge, it almost had like a diner feel to it, the layout.
Yeah, it's long.
Yeah. But that's kind of how a bistro is. Like a classic bistro is not unlike a diner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's January and we have been doing dry January. So we were not drinking during this meal. But man, let me tell you, I really wanted a nice glass of wine.
Yeah, I mean,
I was hurting for one.
If you go, you should get the wine with it.
Yes.
It's a menu meant for wine, absolutely.
100%.
I was getting over a cold, still am, so I got a hot tea.
I got a coffee.
Which was very nice. It was fresh peppermint.
Mm-hmm.
You had a coffee?
It was really good.
It was really good.
Really good cup of coffee.
But for those who need to know, they do not have decaf.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, I will say, I think oftentimes restaurants will overlook their coffee and their tea and stuff like that. And I do think it's important to still maintain quality with those little items, your non-alcoholic options. Nothing like a really good cup of coffee after a meal. I had one before the meal. I just really needed coffee, and they made you fresh tea.
Yes.
At first, she said I didn't have any non-caffeinated tea, and she's like, "Oh, I can make you a mint tea."
I know.
That was a good pivot.
I couldn't tell if she just was like, "Well, I have mint."
Yeah,
hot water.
That's not. It's not on the menu. Like that's a pivot she made. She's like, "Oh yeah, I can make mint tea."
Yeah.
So solid move on the bartender for doing that.
I really appreciated that, and it was perfect.
And a big mug. You get a really big mug.
Their mugs
healthy.
Are huge. It was great.
Yeah. That was awesome.
It felt very cozy because you could put both hands on it, you know?
Yeah. But all right, so we didn't drink, but let's talk about kind of their program for a little bit. They have quite a bit of wine, I think over 100 bottles for such a small restaurant. That's a pretty good selection and a nice by the glass section.
The bottles were kind of pricey.
Mm-hmm.
They range from like 67 and like the most expensive was like 357.
Okay. I mean, I feel like that's pretty average. That's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I just expect a place like this. I think because all the rest of the prices felt so reasonable.
Yeah.
I was expecting them to have a couple bottles that were a little bit lower, but yeah.
Oh, wine's tough. You pay. They're stuck with the cost of the bottle.
Yeah, and they had by the glass that were reasonably priced.
Yeah.
So.
And they're featuring not just only, Chardonnays and Cabernets. They're doing some varietals that people aren't normally used to and from regions that you might not see on menus a lot. Like they have some Australian wines and like some Eastern European wines. So it's nice to see them have a new array of things to try. If you're a wine lover, it's going to be an interesting list for you.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Nice list.
But it's a bistro. We came to eat. We ordered, we ate. Let's talk about the overall food before we get into it. Did you have any kind of thoughts or opinions when you saw the menu?
I thought it looked interesting. There are some French classics on there, but then they had some other stuff and like little tweaks on those that I thought were interesting. So yeah, I was excited to try it. It is not a huge menu,
No,
but
not at all.
but they have a good array, different sizes of portions, different types, sides and snacks, as
Yeah.
well as, the regular appetizers and a few desserts.
One thing that I immediately noticed when I saw this menu was the most expensive item on the menu was $41.
Yeah.
And in 2026 in Los Angeles, to have everything on your menu, not a single item over $41, let's say 40 just to make it an even round number, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Because, they had roasted chicken and braised beef, and they had a duck breast on there before. That's a great price point.
Yeah.
So that might be expensive for some people, but for a nice sit-down restaurant, an entree these days, you're seeing $50-$60 for entrees versus this, most of the entrees here are like $30.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially at the level that they're cooking at. They're using all these really high level French cooking techniques, like old cooking techniques that are executed really, really well and presenting them in this relaxed setting and relaxed way. Typically, that is expensive to do, especially French food is a lot of sauces, it's a lot of stocks, it's a lot of butter. These are not cheap ingredients to be cooking with.
Yeah.
So I think really impressed with the overall pricing of this menu. You can have a really solid meal here for not as much money as most places in town. But let's start talking about it. You mentioned the pate and croûte. That was
Mhm.
the first thing that we had.
I thought this one was good.
Yeah.
It was like nice and meaty, you
Yeah.
know, had that nice deep meat flavor to it, seasoned really nicely.
Yes.
And yeah, with mustard. What can go wrong?
This was a really good pate and croûte. I've had several in my life, varying degrees in terms of really good and really bad. It's really challenging to make. This is the only charcuterie that I have on the menu, and this is probably one of the more challenging charcuteries to make, I would say, only because there's a pastry element here. The pastry was really nice and buttery and soft. The aspic, which is the kind of jelly on the top that they pour in after it's baked and it sets, really, really tasty. Oh, did you not know that?
No, I didn't know that's how they did it.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So they make the dough, they put it in the terrine mold, and then they make the pate farce with, liver and chunks of meat and aromatics, and there's usually some brandy or cognac. And then this particular one, there was mushrooms, sometimes there's truffles or pistachio. There's a competition in France just on pate and croûte every year. It's really crazy and integral, like how they make all the designs on the outside. But when you bake it, the meat shrinks from the pastry itself. And then there's this like inch gap in there. So you can cut it right there, but then you just have this hole in the pastry. So what they do is they usually have like a chimney, one or two or three chimneys in the pate to like let steam escape. And then once it's baked, they pour in really like gelatinous veal stock or duck stock or whatever stock, like a really, really fortified kind of jus, well seasoned.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they put it in the fridge, it sets up and it fills that gap. So when you slice it, it's this just really nice, beautiful slice. And at the end is this really delicious, almost like sauce that complements the pate and the croûte.
Yeah.
And then you get mustard and you get cornichon, and it's a perfect thing. I think if you've never had pate and croûte, absolutely order it. This is a really delicious version. Like, you can really tell the skill of the chef based on this pate and croûte. Like, it makes sense given who he's worked for, how good this was.
Yeah. Though, word to the wise, it is quite heavy.
Yeah.
So factor that into your choices, depending on what you want to have.
Well, it's pate. It's meant to be a little bit heavy, but delicious.
Yeah. Good, like, French farmer meal.
It's a nice portion, and the labor that it takes to make, it's like $19. I think that's a pretty good price. Another thing, we sat down before we got anything. The first thing that hit our table before we got water was a little bowl of cornichon.
Mm-hmm.
That made me so happy. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason for them, but here, have some cornichons.
There doesn't need to be a reason for cornichon.
Exactly. And I could just keep snacking on those all day. So we got French onion soup. It's wintertime, get a French onion soup.
I thought it was fine. Not the best onion soup I've had, not the worst. Perfectly serviceable. Had all the elements that you need in there.
Mm-hmm.
Has the onions, has the cheese, has the croutons in the soup.
Yeah.
It's a soup.
I am torn, and I'm trying not to be biased on my opinion of the onion soup because I worked at Petit Trois. If you have not had their onion soup, I encourage you to try it. I think it's probably the best onion soup in LA that I have had. We've had several onion soups, and the Petit Trois one is just incredible. Part of that is because there's like 8 slices of cheese on it. And one of my issues with the onion soup we had at Electric Blue was there wasn't enough cheese for me. And then I think that the key to a good onion soup is 2 different kinds of cheeses, Emmentaler and Gruyere. If you just do Gruyere, the Gruyere, it kind of melts into the soup, and that is really good. But then I want that like big pull stretch that I get from the Emmentaler, and I was missing that with this soup.
Mm-hmm.
The broth was flavorful. The onions were flavorful. The bread, the croutons were really nice. And it wasn't like a massive French onion soup. Sometimes French onion soup, it's too big, and you end up filling up on this. So this was definitely more of an appetizer size portion of it. So it was all very, very good, but I've had better. So I don't know if I would order it again, knowing what I know. I'd rather, if I have that fix that I need, I'll go to Petit Trois.
Yeah. You're a soup guy.
I
am not a soup gal.
No.
So, yeah, I'm good.
I'm always perpetually shifting into soup mode.
Yep. That is correct.
I was raised on soup. I grew up, as a baby, ate soup. Soup was my life for a very long time. I've had a lot of really amazing soups in life. So
that's great. I'm happy for you.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Grandma and Grandpa, for all the amazing soups and all the other people that made me soup. I've very rarely met a bowl of soup I didn't like.
What's your favorite soup?
Borscht.
Your borscht or someone else's?
My grandmother's. Okay. That's probably number 1. I'll never have it again. My parents both make a really serviceable, really good borscht, but it's not my grandma's, and they know that. I mean, I like a lobster bisque, like French onion soup, chicken noodle, the classics. You know what I don't like? I don't like tomato soup.
Wow, our soup Venn diagram is like completely separate, pretty much.
Well, I don't like...
And you don't like egg drop soup?
No, I think egg drop soup is vile.
So?
First, I like really chunky, hearty soups. That's where I want a lot of stuff in it. I want some sort of potato or something, or some grains rolling around, big chunks of meat. No. That's the kind of soup that I want. The only real exception to that is lobster bisque and French onion soup, I guess. But other than that, like, I like hearty, brothy soups.
I know. You love a brothy soup. I love a creamy soup.
Yeah.
So lobster bisque is probably the one in the middle.
Yeah, but if there's no chunks of lobster in it, I'm out. I don't want just like fine. Creamy pureed lobster stock with cream.
No. What about New England clam chowder?
I love a clam chowder. Okay. That's a chunky, hearty soup. There's a lot of stuff in it. There's potatoes. There's the clams and bacon.
See, but it works for me because it's a creamy soup.
Yes.
And that I like the chunks in the cream.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love egg drop soup. I love tomato soup, lentil soup.
I think tomato soup is the most overrated soup on the planet.
Sorry.
It's pasta sauce that you're eating with a spoon.
Yeah, it's delicious.
No, I want other stuff. Like if you have tomato soup without grilled cheese, you're a certified psychopath.
Well, then you're living with a certified psychopath.
Well, I've seen you do more unhinged things.
And
So
yet you're still here. What does that say about you, though?
if I didn't feed you, I don't know if that would be a true statement.
What?
You would have killed me a long time ago.
Oh, well, yeah, probably. People always ask me, what would you have done if you didn't like his food? I'm like, what do you mean, what would I have done? What would you do?
We wouldn't be here.
Obviously. That's the craziest question.
Yeah.
It is funny, though. It's like another like box to tick if that's your profession. Food.
Yeah, are you good at your job?
Well, yeah, but it's the rare situation where you're being good at your job is actually also going to affect my life.
I think I'm a rarity. Most chefs do not cook at home for themselves.
Yeah.
I cook a lot. We like to cook a lot at home. And I think a lot of chefs, they get off work, they don't want to step into their kitchen unless it's to use the microwave. And I think that's sad, but I also understand because I do feel that way sometimes.
I entirely get it.
But there's some days where I want to just be in my kitchen and I just want to make something and spend like 2 or 3 hours and just laser focused. Like the other day, I'm like, I'm going to make chili.
Yeah,
Like
because
no reason. I just feel like making it.
That's your flow. You're in flow.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, anyways.
That's a very special thing that we as creatives get to do.
Yeah. You just get to, yeah, I guess so. You're just flexing your muscle.
Yeah.
So we got the seasonal salad. It was composed cara cara and endive, and then the menu said Tokyo turnip, and it did not have any Tokyo turnip in there. And I think I've figured out what happened here.
I don't think so, yeah.
So they print their menu every day, and it seems like they're updating it regularly.
They print it every week.
Every week?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the line item right below that also had Tokyo turnip. So whoever edited the menu may have just made a mistake and they haven't noticed it. Or there was supposed to be Tokyo turnip in it and they forgot. Either way, I wasn't really missing it. I didn't think the salad needed Tokyo turnip.
Well, I think the first thing you said is right because it did have radish.
It had radish.
Which kind of serves similar
yes.
purpose.
Yeah, a little shaved, just so red radish.
I think it was just a mistake.
A misprint?
Yeah.
This was a fine salad. It was very small. The portion-wise, I thought that it was a little too small.
It was $17.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it tasted very good. I thought it needed like some nuts or something, maybe some cheese.
It needed that. For me, it also needed more acidity. And that's because the oranges
very sweet
were very sweet. And that's the thing though with a piece of citrus is like on one day you might get one that's very, very sweet. On another one you might get one that's a little bit more sweet and sour. You know, it's more balanced and like it just didn't hit because it was a very sweet orange.
Yeah, I agree. Cara is my favorite kind of orange, so I loved ordering any kind of citrus salad in the wintertime. I wanted more endive. I wanted to feel like more of a robust salad, and it was very, very dainty.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it didn't even feel like we were eating endive because it was cut so finely.
It was very like julienne. It was more of a garnish than it was an ingredient.
Yes. Yeah.
I felt like we just had a bowl of oranges with some lettuce on top.
Yeah, and also I thought I could use a little bit more salt.
Yeah, it was very pretty. Very nicely plated.
Beautiful colors.
Yes. All those things, beautiful flavors, but I think that it's not there yet.
Well, next we had the roasted cone cabbage, which came with guanciale and béarnaise sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this. The cabbage was done very nicely. I thought it was cooked perfectly where the stem was tender, but you had the crispy edges from the roasting process. The guanciale, fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't really expecting it, and it was kind of in a big like piece.
Yes.
But it worked for me.
Yeah.
I think. And then béarnaise. Who doesn't love béarnaise? I love béarnaise. And it adds some nice tartness to it to kind of like balance the the fattiness of the guanciale, but also you have the very nice richness of the béarnaise sauce.
Again, seeing more cabbage on menus. Here for it. Think it's great. I love cone cabbage specifically. I recently saw cone cabbage at Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm.
So it's starting to pop up in actual stores. Cone cabbage is great. I think if you see it, buy one, cut it in half, sear the crap out of it in a pan, and like put some butter and garlic on it. You're gonna be a happy camper. That's basically what they did. Like they roasted a really nice piece of cone cabbage. You got basically a guanciale chip. Like it was like a piece of bacon. You're basically snacking on this while you take a bite of the cabbage, you take a bite of the bacon. I thought it was nice. The béarnaise, perfect. And all of it together really tasted carbonara-y to me. Mainly because it's egg sauce and guanciale.
Mm-hmm.
But béarnaise, so it's got that French kind of a lot of heavy tarragon flavor.
Yeah.
The cabbage itself had a decent amount of butter. It was very, very good. I would order this again.
Yeah, I could easily eat 2 of these at any meal I come to here. I really liked it. And I do wish it was a little bigger. Like, I think for the price, like, it's fine. But personally, because I want more of it, I want it to be bigger.
Yeah. I think ordering this as a side vegetable to go with a main meat is like a perfect move.
Yeah.
For the mains, we had the signature roasted chicken, the beef bourguignon, and the electric fries. We had all these 3 things at once, so let's just talk about all of it.
All right.
First off, this chicken. This is a fantastic poulet rôti. Did I get that right, French people?
That sounds right.
Okay. Really, really good roasted chicken. Probably the best roasted chicken dish that I've had in LA.
Yeah.
It's tough to nail.
Roasted chicken at a restaurant, like, even the best of it, I don't like as much as the chicken I make at home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's because it's fresh or because I made it. I don't know. But that said, this one's the best I've had.
Yeah.
Probably by leaps and bounds. I can think of 2 places in the last 12 months where I've had a really terrible roast chicken.
Yeah.
So this, in comparison, is like way up there.
I think the roasted chicken that we had at La Cita was very comparable. I thought 1A, 1B, but this one, I think, eclipses it slightly.
Ooh. I'm going to push back there. I liked La Cita better.
But this comes with jus and potatoes, and the seasoning was on point. As an overall dish, I think that this is better. La Cita's, you're just getting a piece of chicken.
Yeah, it's a different format for the meal.
Right.
So it's really, you can't compare it one to one.
If I'm walking in and ordering this roast chicken, it's a half roast chicken with some potatoes and some jus. Really good.
Yeah, I mean, the seasoning was fantastic. I loved the seasoning. It was perfectly salty, not too salty. Had a little bit of not heat, but like a little bit of spice.
Yeah.
Should I say a little bit one more time?
Yeah. A little bit.
The one thing about this dish that I wish was more, I wish there was more jus.
Yeah, more sauce
to really get the chicken in there and
it was
get
like
it nice
thick,
and saucy.
Thick sauce. It wasn't like a really runny kind of jus. It was thick.
Yeah. So,
potatoes were fantastic.
Yeah, they were really good, and that's the way we like to do them at home too. Is do them in the drippings from the chicken.
Yeah, that's the French way.
You gotta.
I mean, this is a very, very classic French roasted chicken. It's their signature, and I could see why. I would absolutely have this again. I would order this to go, and like you can have this in your fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Really good deal.
Yeah.
And we did chat with the manager a little bit about the chicken dish itself, and they are sourcing these chickens from a pasture farm, very, very specific chicken for this dish. They're not just getting the generic chicken everyone else is getting. And you can really tell that they wanted to make sure that this was a really, really good version of roasted chicken. The most deceptively simple thing, really challenging to nail logistically in a restaurant setting.
Yeah,
The
I can't
reason
imagine.
the reason you love your roasted chicken at home more than restaurants is because you are doing the whole process of roasting the chicken and getting to experience it at its best. From a restaurant point of view, it's impossible to time that. You don't know how many people are going to order a roasted chicken.
And it takes a long time for it to roast.
Yeah. So they have to essentially cook it really, really slowly up to a very specific temperature that they've set, probably in like the 130s or 140s. And then during service, when someone orders it, they blast it in the oven, get the skin nice, make sure it's cooked all the way through. But they're basically halting the process and then jump starting it back up. So there's always going to be a slight degradation there
Yeah.
compared to when we make it at home as far as juiciness and overall quality. But I think they have rationales, like really fancy combi ovens here. So I imagine that they're adding a little steam in the beginning, keeping it juicy. That breast was really moist. The dark meat was really tender, and you could tell that the slow cooking process really broke the chicken down a little bit better. So every part of the chicken was really good. They nailed it.
Yeah. And my favorite part of it, the seasoning, is also what goes on the fries,
Yeah,
which are called electric fries,
with chicken salt.
with chicken salt. And the chicken salt is just the seasoning, but it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's really good. I love a seasoned fry. They tasted like really good potato, you know, fried
Oh yeah.
nicely, crispy.
These were proper French fries.
Yeah. I do wish it came with a sauce.
I agree.
I don't care what sauce, really. Just
I
a
agree.
sauce.
Yeah, you just get this bowl of fries seasoned really well with the chicken seasoning. And I mean, I don't know why I understand why they don't give you ketchup.
That's fine.
I can respect that, but I want an aioli. I asked for an aioli, they gave me mayo. I wasn't thrilled about the mayo.
Yeah.
I did not want mayo. I wanted aioli.
We do sound a little petulant saying that, but like they are quite dry fries, I would say. You know, some fries taste like mashed potatoes inside, and some fries taste like real potato inside.
Yeah,
These taste like real potato inside.
as they should.
As they should, yes. But if you have one like that, personally, I think it needs a sauce to help it go down.
I think where I stand is fries always need a sauce. They're made to dip.
I back you up with that.
These fries, very well made. You could tell that they were twice or three times cooked. Really crisp. Really, really good. They leave the skin on. These are fantastic fries.
I like it when they leave the skin on.
Tastes more potatoy.
Yeah.
And it's healthier for you.
Yeah, it's good for you.
There's no world where fries are healthier for you.
But you might get a little bit more like potassium or like vitamin K, like 1% more. And I'll take that.
I'll take it. Yeah, 1% is 1%.
Yeah.
So last savory thing, the beef bourguignon. I really liked it, except highly underseasoned.
Incredibly underseasoned, which was surprising because everything else was seasoned just fine.
Yeah, everything else was perfectly seasoned.
Yeah.
For some reason, and it wasn't just one part of this thing was
No.
underseasoned. The meat was underseasoned. The mashed potatoes were underseasoned. Everything about it. And I think what happened here is there's a lot of bacon in this, and they were expecting the saltiness from the bacon to kind of carry the weight of all this, and it didn't.
Yeah.
It needed a little bit more oomph.
Yes, it really did. And the saddest part is, had the seasoning been correct, this would have been a really fantastic dish.
I still think it's really fantastic.
It is. I mean, the meat was beautifully cooked, really, just,
Yeah, melts in your mouth.
Yeah, melts in your mouth.
They use beef cheek. They use beef cheek as their cut of choice. So it's braised beef cheek, super tender and delicious.
Yeah,
perfectly braised.
The potatoes, classic French potatoes, as far as I could tell.
Yep.
You
Very
know,
luscious.
yeah, very luscious, very rich.
They're Joel Robuchon-esque,
Yeah.
which basically means they're 50% butter, 50% potato.
Is he the one with the emotional support butter? Who is that?
That's me.
Well, yeah, that's you also. But there's this like clip that floats around Instagram every once in a while that's like a chef with a huge bowl of butter, and
I
he's
can't
like, "This is
remember.
my emotional support
I
butter."
know the clip you're talking about. I can't remember what chef it
I
was,
can't
but
remember either.
that's pretty much every chef. We need
Especially French chefs.
Absolutely. You need your emotional support butter. But yeah, Robuchon this is a chef whose most famous dish is mashed potatoes.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but if you like Google a picture of Robuchon mashed potatoes, it's the prettiest mashed potatoes you've ever seen in your life. It's like an art piece.
But this chef didn't work for him.
No, but
Okay.
any chef that has worked for French chefs, especially in this world, they know who Robuchon is. They know how to make the Robuchon potatoes. It is a huge pain. You're putting these potatoes through a tammy, like the finest, silkiest sieve ever.
I've done it.
Folding all this butter and cream, it's a heart attack. It might be the most unhealthy side dish on the planet, but in this instance, super delicious.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, the under-seasoning was tough.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
Now, earlier we were just kind of discussing, you were asking me about choosing beef cheek for the Bourguignon, and does that kind of not make it a Bourguignon? So what is a beef Bourguignon anyway?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why it's Bourguignon?
Because it's from that region?
Yes, but specifically the dish. What is the dish? Because everyone thinks they see beef bourguignon, they just think it's red wine braised beef.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I assumed.
But there's a specific set that the garnishments that make
with,
it a beef bourguignon from Burgundy.
The Grand Mère.
Yeah. So it's onions and mushrooms and bacon lardons.
Yeah.
Is the typical garnish for this, and oftentimes it's in the braise. It's all together. So bacon is essential, onion essential, mushroom essential. If it doesn't have those three things, it's not a true beef bourguignon. It's just wine braised beef.
Yeah.
And if we're being really specific, it needs to be a Burgundy wine.
That makes sense.
For it to be authentic beef bourguignon.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So this is definitely definitely a very authentic rendition of beef bourguignon that I hope was just that version was a little underseasoned and not all of them all the time, because it's a fantastic entree.
Yeah, well, like sometimes you switch bacons and some are more salty than others, stuff like that.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
You can always ask for a side of sea salt.
Yes.
So
yeah, I'd rather have it under seasoned than over seasoned.
Yeah.
Obviously, I still want my dishes to be seasoned, but
Well, everything else was seasoned perfectly, so I'm not gonna knock them for this little thing.
Yeah.
It was really well executed. The jus, really, really flavorful.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, really, really delicious. I would have it again. I would just, if it was still under seasoned, I'd probably just ask for a side of salt.
Yeah.
Which is me kindly letting the kitchen know they've underseasoned my stuff without directly complaining about it.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
It's fair.
If only a few people ask, they'll know.
Yeah. Overall, these were great entrees, and they did this for $40 or less.
Yeah.
To get a braised beef cheek dish,
in
LA for $40, and it was two nice big pieces of beef cheek. It wasn't skimpy at all.
Yes.
It was heavy.
Yes, which was funny. That is like confuses me even more about that salad because everything else was a nice portion.
Maybe it was on purpose.
Maybe.
It wasn't a cost-saving measure to make it that small. I think you just wanted to make a pretty little thing.
Yeah.
I'm almost like, put some like scallops on there or something.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Yeah. Anyways. Well, that was our mains. You want to talk about dessert?
Sure. I will talk about dessert. We ordered the chocolate mousse. They have 3 desserts total, and we were looking for a lighter dessert because we were very full from our meal, and our server slash bartender was like, none of them are really gonna be all that light. So he said, okay, well, we'll just get the mousse. And definitely not light.
Well, she looked at it, she's like, that's the heaviest thing. I'm like, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Be
And
fine.
I'm glad we got it because I am a little picky about my mousse. This one was great. It was really had a lot of heft to it.
It was a denser chocolate mousse.
Very dense.
Fudgy.
Really stood up to the spoon.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that just feels so much more luxurious than the ones that have like whipped cream folded in or something like that. I don't think that's mousse. I think this one was much more proper to me.
Yeah, this was a really good mousse. I love the almonds, the crunch factor of
and
it all.
The cacao nibs. Yeah.
It was good. Some people might be a little bit turned off by the cacao nibs because they're a little bit bitter and they can be a bit sandy texturally at times. It does happen. This wasn't the case here, but not everyone wants it.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. We do eat.
We love it. So
a lot
for
of
us,
cacao nibs at home. So
for us it was great, but I think some people aren't used to that level of bitterness with their chocolate. This was a very dark, rich chocolate. This is where you get the cup of coffee.
Yeah.
This with a cup of coffee, perfect.
Absolutely. If you can do regular coffee. I think that having the cacao nibs in contrast with the mousse is so smart though, because the mousse is quite sweet, as most mousses are. And the contrast is really nice.
I think the one thing I was missing was some whipped cream.
On top, that's fine, yeah.
On top. Yeah, I want a little side of whipped cream or a little whipped cream on top with my mousse. I love that. I'm not saying they should serve whipped cream with their mousse, but it won't hurt. A little side of chantilly.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
All the desserts sounded nice. They had a pavlova on the menu. They had that passion fruit tart. Small dessert menu, but very nice. I love the size of the menu here and the overall what they're doing. It really felt like a good bistro.
So let's talk about the service.
Okay.
What did you think?
It was fine. I think that they aren't quite polished yet. They're still in April. Like there was nothing bad. No, they didn't make any mistakes. None of the service was bad. It just didn't feel polished. Felt very lax, which it should.
I agree. I think they make up for a lot of that with their warmth.
I agree.
Like we mentioned earlier, a lot of people from the neighborhood were stopping in and they were greeting them. And clearly they're getting to know people one-on-one, which is excellent. Also, the manager came over and spoke to us. It felt like we got to know a little bit more of the personality of the staff and of the restaurant, which is something that you want in a neighborhood-focused kind of restaurant.
They're clearly trying to meet their neighbors and be very friendly. And the manager came over and chatted with us, and he stayed the perfect amount of time where he didn't linger. And sometimes restaurant servers and managers and bartenders, they do that sometimes where they're lingering a little too long into the conversation. We're there to have a conversation with ourselves and maybe have a little bit of banter with a server or someone, but we're not there to talk to you. So it was a great amount of just like, hey, how you doing? This is what we're all about. We talked about the chicken because he came to ask us, how it was. And it was just a really nice, it felt friendly. It felt warm and felt like they're starting to get a lot of regulars.
Yeah.
Now, a bistro is never going to be a really high service, fancy thing. It's always going to be a little bit more lax. So I'm not expecting or wanting there to be any kind of craziness where they're folding my napkin, this or that. Like then the prices are moderate too. Like they're clearly going for this really casual feel. They have really great music playing. It's all kind of 80s rock music on there, and they just want to have a really nice family-oriented vibe. So it was fine for me. I didn't think anything about the service was something that I can complain about. The only one thing is our server kept asking us how everything was, and that's fine, but I think like 2 is a limit.
Yeah.
Per dinner. Like I don't need you to ask me how everything was after each thing. I understand they're trying to get notes on stuff. They're new. They want to get a feel for what people are liking, what they're not liking, but you need to have a balancing act.
But also the timing of it. Like, if you've just dropped a plate maybe 2 minutes ago,
Yeah.
we don't have an answer for you yet.
I would prefer you ask me after you've cleared it, like, how was it?
Right. Yeah, me too.
And then I can do my usual joke where I say hated it even though it's an empty plate.
Right. You love that joke.
Yeah. It's a dad joke. I like dad jokes. It's easy.
Yeah.
I'm mostly like, if you see that our plate is 3/4 still there and we're clearly done with it, maybe then ask, how was it? I'm like, well, it wasn't for me. Very few people are very honest with their servers when they don't like something. And I think for a newer restaurant, it's okay to be honest and give them your constructive feedback. Like,
Right.
hey, I didn't really like this, then this is why. And it's not because you made it wrong. Maybe it's just, it wasn't for me, or it had these things that I didn't like. The restaurants want those notes. They don't expect everyone to love every single plate that they put out. All in all, I thought this was a really lovely meal. I don't know if I want to go here on like a Saturday night date night, but I really love it for a weeknight atmosphere. Have a nice glass of wine and some pate and maybe some roasted chicken and a dessert. I think it's a perfect little meal.
It's the perfect place for if you don't want to cook.
Mm-hmm.
You can go and have a nice meal.
Yeah.
That's easy. You're in and you're out. Everything came out very quickly.
Yeah.
They were very attentive. Sometimes too attentive.
Well,
but
okay. It was all for a good reason.
It was kind of a no stress feeling dinner.
It was a very unpretentious meal. Very simple food cooked well with really good ingredients. And I think most people, that's the kind of dining experience they want. We go to a lot of places where there's a lot of outside the box stuff and abstract flavors and different combinations. Like, we went to Baby Bistro. It was such a different experience than Baby Bistro.
And they're trying to achieve different things.
Absolutely.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not a knock on Baby Bistro at all. But most people would prefer the Electric Blue meal to the Baby Bistro meal simply because it's more approachable and it's more something that they understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like a good roasted chicken, anyone's going to understand right away that that's a good roasted chicken.
So we are giving Electric Bleu 2 taste buds. I don't think that I'm going to make the trek down there for myself. However, if I go visit my friends in Mar Vista, this is absolutely a great option for us to go out to dinner if I'm down there.
Yeah.
So if you're in the neighborhood, definitely really, really solid.
I agree. When the manager came over to chat with us, I let him know that I was living 5 minutes away several years back, and I would kill for this place to be in my neighborhood when I was living there. It's such a nice, you go there, you have a glass of wine and a really good piece of meat. What's not to love?
Yeah.
But it is a bit simple, and to make a trek, if you're going to drive over 45 minutes just to have this meal, I don't know if it's necessarily worth it, but if you're on the west side, definitely stop in and try it and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Until next time, guys. Peace out.